Hello, everybody, and welcome back to tracking our local shifting real estate market here, Burlington, Camden, Gloucester counties, 900,000 and below. And today, the story that I really want to talk about is the days on market. So I have our graph pulled up here that we'll take a look at together, but I just want to kind of review what we got going on here in week 15. So obviously, we're taking a look here, second week of April, third week of April, basically, what's going on for us here. So the one thing that I am very excited to see is that our total active listings, we've actually come up a little bit here. So we were kind of sitting down in kind of the low 1200s for the last week and even the week before. We have had a great new week with new listings, up at 345 new listings this week. So that is fantastic. That's the biggest single week increase in new listings that we've had all year. So happy to see that the spring market is in full effect of getting some more listings on the market. Now, my positivity is going to wane a little bit as we go through the rest of these, but let's touch on them. So our pending, our under contracts, we're at 288. Again, we always just want to see that lower than the new listings for right now. Hoping that we put more listings on the market, which it did this week. So that's great. And only 218 closed units. So a little bit of an oddity just in how many got closed this week. But that was likely from some of the under contract numbers back here when we didn't have quite as many going under contract. And now they're sort of at that closing time. Expired, withdrawn, and canceled only at 71. That's a pretty good number, especially being in the middle of the month. We wouldn't expect that to get much higher like we saw here in the beginning of April and like we saw at the beginning of March. But here's the big one, and I'm kind of skipping over price reduction because it was also kind of similar to what we were looking at. We had an average days on market last week of 60. It's down to 56. We had a median days on market at 26 down to 21. Those are big, significant drops to have in just 1 week, especially when we had kind of been riding steady at 59, 59, 59, 61, 60, 56, right? We had a little bit of a steady state there with the speed of the market and then a big drop. Same thing with this median, 23, 25, 23, 26, 20, 26, 21. So that drop is not insignificant that we had there. Volume is coming up a little bit, obviously, as our new listings have come up. And again, from a pricing standpoint, we're back up at this 349.9. We haven't quite eclipsed that 350 mark yet, but we are about as close as you're going to get. And again, a 349.9 is tied for the highest median list price since we have been tracking these stats at the beginning of 2023. And it would have been higher than that because that was an all-time high. Okay, so let's take a look at here, and I'm just going to go ahead and clear some of this annotation. So this is the story of the conversation that I want to put out, and I'm just kind of resetting our screen here so it's a little easier to watch. In blue, we have 2023, and in red, we have 2024. Now, this is the average days on market on a monthly basis, right? So you can see we have January, it started at 75, February 73, March 71, and so forth. So we had that nice decline in days on market last year. We had the inflationary period that kind of slowed some of the listing period down, but that also tanked inventory. So the inventory that was on the market started to move very quickly. And that's what we saw as we entered into the heavy buying months of kind of April through August, bottoming out at an average days on market of 55 days all the way out in August. And then as the year got a little bit slower, we kind of tailed off. We were back in school for some of the kids and things like that. We saw that days on market slowly start to creep up. This was at the same time that we also had some of the bigger interest rate increases, which sort of in this later part in order to spur that kind of issue that we were having with inventory. So then we peaked up here in January of this year, now flipping over to the red graphs, which was a little bit lower than last year. But the trend that I want to really pull out is look how much faster our days on market are dropping here in 2024 than they were last year. And last year was already a little bit of a tough market. And now we're sort of getting into this. So in January at 72, February we were at 67, and then March we're all the way down into 60 for our average days on market. Now with our April already having a 56, you can see that it is expected that going forward, this our next April average days on market average, which we'll get in again 2 weeks, I would expect that's probably going to be even lower than 60. So the concern that I have is when we had the last time that we had a days on market that stayed down at this level for as long as it did was COVID. When we were doing COVID buying and it was sort of that feeding frenzy, it really came out where it was just so difficult to see homes. And as a buyer, you were submitting offers. It felt like every other day. Your agent was submitting offers, felt like every other day. You were rushing out to try and see places. You were putting sight unseen offers in on places. So right now, the buyers who are winning are the buyers who are willing to sort of sacrifice their lifestyle in the short term in terms of what they have to do after work and on the weekends. It is a full-time job to be searching for a home in today's market, given how quick days on market are. I just chatted with another agent today about this was in a PA market, but a lot of the similarities. I mean, we share we're separated by a river. I mean, it's a lot of similarities except for the way the contracts are written. But I'm talking with another agent, and I said, is this really in the best interest of sellers to be taking their properties off market 2 days into a listing? And while they may eke out a little bit of an extra price because of how hot and heavy so many buyers are so early on when these new listings come out, that sellers are getting slammed. Those first 2, 3, 5 days on market, they can't even have a normal life. There's 8 to 10 showings every day. So from a seller's perspective, the moment they get an offer that is the terms that they want, they are going to shut that thing down immediately. They have no interest in allowing everybody to come through their home just to maybe squeeze out an extra $3,000 to $5,000 over the next best offer. That's the hard part. Now, in New Jersey, these offers aren't binding, so we can let them sit for a little bit longer. But in PA, these offers have expiration dates. And so when you submit an offer, they'll say, like, my offer expires tonight. You either take this or it expires and I'm pulling it. And that's freaking a lot of sellers out. So I'm seeing an average of, like, not an average, but from the homes that we're seeing with our buyers that are these good listings, it's 2 days, it's 3 days at most. And if you're not getting out, seeing it, and offering it in those 3 days, the likelihood that you're even going to be able to tour the property is dropping dramatically. So what I tell people right now is, if you want to talk to some people, your family's friends, loved ones, colleagues, whoever's considering buying a home, and you want to look like a hero and tell them, well, if you want to get into this market right now, the money is one thing, obviously the interest rates, and I just pulled those off the Freddie Mac website. You can find all this information just right on Freddie Mac. I literally just copy and paste it here and update our graph. It was at 6.82. So interest rates have not fallen as quickly as they thought they were going to be. We thought they were going to be coming down in March. That didn't happen. We thought they were going to be coming down in June. It's looking like that may not happen. So all of a sudden, all these things we were promised about the interest rates coming down to help out buyers, that's not happening. The one thing you want to impress upon a buyer right now is this days on market trend, and that it is super fast right now. And if you are in, you got to jump in, both feet, both arms. I don't think that's really a saying, but you get what I'm saying. You got to be fully committed to your search if you are going to be doing it in this market. So anyway, that's going to do it for us this week on our shift tracker. I will talk to you next week for week 16.